boxing news. Ow!
That's why karma eating your ass. That's why you dealing with what you dealing with now with your health issues, because you is a individual. He talking about these gloves were gifted by Roberto Duran to me, and I didn't know that the padding was that much in there. The gloves and the padding had 0 to no padding. That's what it's about. You think I got a problem with getting dropped? It's boxing. It happens. I done been hit so hard. I done seen stars. I done got hit like where I couldn't eat for 3 days, sparring against a heavyweight coming up when I was 17. I don't give a about being dropped. But what I will say is, when a try to cheat me, you got me up. And yes, I ran to my car and I grabbed my knife and I was going to cut Derek Santos. Guess who stopped me? Coach John. Because I will slice his old ass up, because don't ever cheat against me. I'm not mad about getting dropped. And anybody who think that I am mad about it, use a fool.
So this is a story that's been getting around the last 12 hours or so.
What?
Apparently, 5 years ago, a nondescript Eastern European fighter named Arturs Amatovs, with a record of 6-1, posted a clip of himself flooring Clarissa Shields in sparring back in 2018, and Shields responded by saying he took the padding out of his gloves because I embarrassed him earlier in the week. For a male fighter to take the padding out, he's a punk.
This happened 5 years ago. Why are people talking about it today?
Because apparently Artur was hanging on to that clip. He was hanging on to that clip for 5 years, and he recently uploaded it. He recently posted it. Now, I don't care how annoying you might find Clarissa Shields. What you will find is that most men that are men, they're not going to take too kindly to a guy that size knocking down a woman, even if that woman is Clarissa Shields. Clarissa, who said, "Let me tell y'all something. This coward has had this video for 5 years. The knockdown happened 1 week before I fought against Hannah Gabriels. Y'all couldn't wait to jump on this train, but I'm unbothered. This same dude, Artur, quit boxing after being knocked out by Rollies." Heard that right. Guy stopped boxing after Rolando Romero apparently put his hands on him, put him out.
Some would say that if nothing else, this services as indication that for all of Clarissa Shields' talk, she's not adept to the task she thinks she is. She shouldn't be fighting men, because she's called out a good number of men. She's called out Triple G. She's called out Keith Thurman for a boxing match.
She got knocked down in sparring by a guy, decent-sized guy, who really isn't that good. I mean, he's not on the level in men's boxing that she's on in women's boxing, but he dropped her. And to all of this, Rolando Romero himself stated, "I'm happy I knocked out this motherfucker. He shouldn't be putting his hands on a woman like that."
The indictment against Arturs isn't that he knocked down Clarissa Shields in sparring. The indictment is that he took the padding out of the gloves, that he got embarrassed earlier in the week and he decided to cheat.
It's important to make that distinction, because if not for that, then it's just an occupational hazard. You want to spar with the big boys, this kind of stuff is going to happen. But the fact that Artur took the padding out of the gloves to do it, that's really what's damning about the whole thing. Shouldn't have had to do that, and the fact that he did it.
I don't know what reaction Arturs thought he was going to get. Did he think people were going to cheer him on?
A lot of men are not going to approve of this. Rolly Romero himself doesn't approve of this, but to that, Clarissa responded to Rolly. Clarissa responded to Rolly by saying, "Man, Rolly, you ain't defending me, weak ass. Go come to my inbox, yo little strong, non-boxing skill having ass. Wish I was a hater of you. I don't give a damn about you. You're on the Guots hit list. Y'all be smooth though. I'm in the gym, about to shed a few more pounds so I can go to Vegas and beat Rolly's ass. That bitch overstepped his boundaries with me."
For real. And now y'all talking about she called out Keith Thurman. It still remains that Keith Thurman do not have any boxing skills, and he got power too. Him and Rolly need to fight each other. And Rolly, next time I see you, you can put your motherfucking dukes up, because I'm gonna punch the fuck out your ass. Because
in what way did he overstep his boundaries with Clarissa? I don't know, but it seems to me like he was sympathizing.
Just being honest with you, I get the sense Clarissa don't like nobody. She don't like nobody, but nobody likes her.
Some people pretend to. They pretend to be big supporters of Clarissa, but where was their support when she fought Marie-Eve Dicaire on pay-per-view right here in America, and it didn't sell anything? It didn't bring anything in. And if she had the support you see online in the real world, where it matters, where it counts, she'd probably be a lot more active. She'd probably make a lot more money than she's making, she would have never had to go to the UK for her biggest purse.
My thoughts.
There's no way I can agree with Artur taking the padding out of the gloves in order to inflict more damage on Clarissa. Even if Clarissa is annoying and behaves like a petulant child, that still doesn't justify something like that.
There's no justification and there's no defending that. Irrespective of what Clarissa Shields says, that she wants to beat up Rolly and she wants to beat up Keith, we all know that she can't.
We do.
We all know that she won't.
At one point, she was saying that she wanted to fight Triple G. As ridiculous as that sounds, Triple G would kill the woman.
She's the one that said she wants to fight him. She thinks she can beat him. She says a lot of things.
She does.
The way a child would. Thus, you have to treat her like a child and think of her as a child, even though she's an adult.
An unruly child in a public space making a lot of noise. No, you can't just walk across the room and rear the child. You know that's not how things work. You have to be mature. You have to endure.
No matter how annoying or how loud she is, she's basically just an unruly child. An unruly child that you have to ignore.
Gotta take the high road sometimes, as hard as that might seem. You gotta be the bigger person because she won't be.
There's discussions and debates and battles with everybody. The other day she was arguing with Chris Cyborg. I think she was taking shots at Amanda Serrano. She even came at me once.
She's got a problem with everybody. Thus, the best way to deal with Clarissa Shields is to not deal with Clarissa Shields. That doesn't mean I condone Artur's doing what he did. That's me taking the high road, saying that just because she's annoying and just because she's a nuisance, that doesn't make it all right for him to do that.
I don't condone it.
Though as far as her taking shots at Golovkin, at Keith Thurman, at Rolly Romero, just chalk it up to her being immature, because that's what she's always been. You don't see any other woman boxer carrying on like Clarissa. And I just don't got the stomach for it. Men's super lightweight news, yet another story that's been making headlines in the last 12 to 24 hours or so. Team Matias denies Bill Haney's claim of a $4 million demand to fight Devin Haney. We have not received any calls about negotiations. This is in response to something that Bill Haney told Fight Hub TV, something he told Marcos Villegas. He said, how much boogie does he got in him? The elder Haney told Fight Hub's Marcos Villegas upon the suggestion of Matias as the sport's latest boogeyman. I gave Peter Kahn a call about it. He didn't sound too much like a boogeyman to me. At $4 million, I called him and said, Devin said, let's talk. He said the kid wants $4 million, so I waited about 30 minutes and called him back. He said, no, really, the kid wants $4 million. There's one glaring problem with this scenario. Peter Kahn is in no way involved in Matias' career.
From the moment that this story started getting around, Team Matias has been adamant that no dialogue was established, no communications were made, and Peter Kahn has absolutely nothing to do with Subriel Matias. So why would Bill Haney said he spoke to Peter about Subriel?
Is Bill Haney lying about the whole thing? Is he making the whole thing up, the conversation with Peter Kahn? Because there's no real reason for Peter Kahn to pretend that he represents Subriel Matias or manages his career. What's the end game? It's not actually his fighter.
If he lied, to what end would he be lying? Because he doesn't actually manage that fighter. There's nothing in it for him.
For some who tried to validate Bill Haney's claim, suggesting that perhaps the Haneys confused Khan's name with Pedrito Cruz, Matias's actual manager. Even that doesn't fly with Matias and his team. Subriel Matias's team has not received any calls about negotiations to face Devin Haney, confirmed a spokesperson for Fresh Productions. Matias's promoter to boxing scene, Peter Kahn, has nothing to do with Subriel Matias. Promoter Juan Orengo and Matias's manager Pedro Cruz are the only representatives of El Orgullo de Maternillo. So Bill Haney says he spoke to Peter Kahn about a fighter that Peter Kahn doesn't even fucking manage. What's the likeliest explanation?
What?
Bill Haney is lying. If you need further indication of what Team Matias is suggesting, a member of that team made an appearance on the Boxing Voice earlier today, and this is what he had to say about it.
Now, is there any chance that maybe Peter Kahn was the middleman?
There's no in our company, brother. I'm gonna tell you, and this is how it goes. There's no middleman. and I'm gonna say it in Spanish so that Pedro and Yomi lo pueden entender. En la compañía de nosotros no existe un intermediario. No existe una persona quien haga otros arreglos más que Juan Iván Orengo y Pedro Cruz son los que se encargan de Fresh Productions. La voz de mando, la persona correcta es Juan Iván Orengo. That's the important person. We don't have the middleman in our company. It's Juan Iván Orengo.
Do you notice sometimes I tell you that I agree with some things Bill says and does, but there are other things that I don't agree with? Well, this is one of the things that I don't agree with. I don't agree with trying to mislead people about what you're doing and what's happening behind the scenes. I don't agree with going as far as lying about phone calls and conversations that never happened.
Bill is lying. If you can't see that, then you're fucking stupid.
Peter Kahn has absolutely nothing to do with the career of Subriel Matias. How much more clear does that need to be? That Bill didn't talk to anybody about making a fight between his son and Subriel Matias. Why would he? For the last week or so, all they've been talking about is moving up to welterweight after this past weekend's fight. And they had specific names in mind. The name of Keith Thurman, the name of Mario Barrios. They made that clear.
It's not a miscommunication. It's not something that's getting lost in translation. Put simply, Bill is lying. Bill is lying to save face for his son. Kind of like how they lied about that offer to Shakur Stevenson. I've been telling you throughout.
You got no fucking common sense. And the same reason they lied about that offer to Shakur is the same reason they're lying about this offer to Subriel Matias. It's because they don't want it to look like Devin is skipping out on anybody. They don't want it to look like he's avoiding anyone.
When you lie about something like this, that's exactly how it looks. Because why would you lie? Why would you pretend you had a phone conversation that never happened?
I remember that in the weeks leading up to this past weekend's fight, Subriel Matias was calling Devin Haney out. He was calling Devin Haney out by name, and Devin Haney said he'd never heard of the man.
And I didn't believe him.
So that Bill Haney can turn around after this weekend's fight saying that he spoke to Peter Kahn, and in so many words, Subriel priced himself out. Subriel asked for $4 million. Yeah, that was more bullshit, because what you want is for the fans to blame Subriel when the fight between him and Devin doesn't happen. You don't want your son to take the heat for that. You want to shift the blame over to him.
Oh, what, you don't believe me? In your expert fucking opinion, it's outside the realm of possibility that a father would lie to protect his son.
Because you're so fucking smart, right?
Listen, do it like you like. But the one thing that you got to do is you got to get off the internet talking and call me on the back line.
Well, isn't that what you should have done instead of running to Marcos Villegas on the internet with tall tales about a conversation with Peter Kahn that never happened for a fighter that he doesn't even manage?
You did?
No, that's why.
What it is.
I'm not an interneter, brother. This is the first.
Yeah, no, you definitely. You listen. Hey, listen, Coach. I'm here. We still on here.
This is the part where Bill tries to excuse himself for lying and dragging Subriel's name in the mud by saying, well, we're here now, we can negotiate it now.
You're not going to negotiate anything.
The only reason I haven't talked to Panda, I'm talked to Juan is because he called you and he didn't call me back.
The only reason you're here now is because you're trying to get ahead of the lies that you told that are catching up with you.
So I'm going to get off this phone right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Panda. He wants you to call him now, so we're going to let y'all both go so y'all can make that business deal happen. I just want it in Puerto Rico. So push for that, Panda. Push for that.
Like I said, we'll have Orengo call him right now.
All right. Me deja saber. Pasa buena.
No screaming, Bill. No screaming. They're going to hang up on you again if you're screaming.
All right. He's gone, though. He's gone. But there you have it, man. We did it again.
Yeah, I'm so sure that after Bill Haney gets caught in a lie, trying to perpetrate a fraud to the boxing community about Subriel ducking his son, I'm sure that next year this is the first order of business. This is the first fight the Haneys are going to look to make. Look at what Devin is saying. They're contemplating a move to 147. This is what they were saying before the Regis Prograis fight. This is what they're still saying after the Regis Prograis fight. And I feel that In all likelihood, that's where they're going to go. They're looking at either Keith Thurman or Mario Barrios for obvious reasons. Those are much more winnable fights than this one, in spite of those fights being at a higher weight. Keith Thurman is in his mid-30s, and he's a quasi-retired fighter, and Mario Barrios is only known for the people that beat him. He's basically a punching bag.
No nice way for me to say that. There's no nice way for me to say that nobody knew who Mario Barrios was until Gervonta Davis knocked him out. Nobody was talking about this guy.
See, this is where understanding matchmaking in the sport of boxing, how matchmaking works and how styles make fights, this is where understanding that comes into play. I give Devin Haney full credit for his performance this past weekend. I felt that he was going to win a points decision, and that's what he did, because of the styles. Regis Prograis' counter-punching style.
Devin is all wrong for him.
And Subriel is all wrong for him. This is not a guy who's working off the counter like George Kambosos or Regis Prograis. This is not a guy who's going to wait for you to give him permission to come forward and crash the pocket. This is a guy who throws punches and bunches, more punches per round than a Regis Prograis, than a George Kambosos. This is a guy who's not afraid to take one to give one. You saw the Ponce fight, you saw the Ergashev fight. This guy can take a shot. He can take a couple of shots to deliver one of his own because he's got faith in his power, belief that if he lands, he's gonna hurt you. And 1 and 2 punches at a time, trying to manage the distance, most of those punches being jabs. Simple jabs. That ain't gonna cut it. That ain't gonna do it. That's why pressure fighters have an advantage over pure boxers, because pressure fighters, they're not afraid to take one to give one.
This guy's all wrong for Devin, and anybody like him. Any pure boxer who wants to fight at a controlled pace, managing the distance.
Pot-shotting from a safe distance. Only throwing 1 and 2 punches at a time thinking that'll hold him off. That'll hold him back. Yeah, this ain't Regis Prograis. He's not looking for a big counter shot. Once again, he's not gonna fence with you. He's not gonna wait for you to give him permission to crash the pocket. He's gonna come busting through the front door, and you've got to deal with whatever happens after that.
This fight don't happen.
Bill Haney wouldn't be sat there lying to Marcos Villegas about phone conversations that never happened about a fighter Peter doesn't even manage if what he wanted was to make a fight with Subriel Matias. You lying about that communicates the opposite, that you don't want that fight.
You don't want that fight to happen, and you know it's not going to happen, so you tried to cook up a story preemptively for when it doesn't happen. You wanted to get your story straight.
You're not going to get on a horn, you're not going to talk to nobody, you're not going to do nothing. You're not going to have this fight, and if you want to prove me wrong, prove me wrong. If you do, I get a unification match out of it, but I don't think I'm going to.